This morning, we're joined by Jide Pratt, COO, Nigeria and Country Manager, Trade Grid. Thank you so much for joining us live in our studios anyway.
Thank you, Lekon. Thanks for talking to me.
So we saw trucks load petrol from the Dangote plant yesterday after so much back and forth as regards what the operationality would be and what the pricing would be and who the off-taker would be and who the sole buyer would be. But then when you look at everything that has played out up until yesterday, what are your thoughts, or what were your thoughts running to your mind, most especially when the lifting started?
Okay, thanks again, Lekon. A few things. I think first and foremost, the lifting has started. So how we got here, in my opinion, is not exactly the greatest. And why do I say so? Between the refinery, between the NNPC, planning a logistics or operations, ideally, you have some time. It might have been easier if there was a joint press conference between the two parties who had sat down and spoken for a while. The refinery has taken, let's say, 4 to 5 years to come on stream. So what it did mean is that we knew it was going to come on stream. Calculations around pricing, we should have had a somewhat guide in terms of what the pricing should be for petrol. It took us this long, and again I say, the NNPC might have done a lot of things wrong or right, but one thing that they've done is that they've taken us now to what we call a guided price. Those guided prices have shown us what the indices they've used. And I mean, if you look at the statement from NNPC, I believe they used a gasoline index, which was something they referenced. They added their premiums to it. And all in all, we're able to see categorically that what they're saying is that about 55 cents per liter is quote and unquote the cost from the Dangote refinery. So one more thing I must add is this. To get to that price, you find out that when it comes to vessels and trading, a lot of things are sold in metric tons. There's a specific gravity that they've used. So ideally for petrol, that would be 1341. So if you divided what that per metric ton price was by 1341, it will get you that 0.55 in terms of cents. Now we sell in Nigeria, Naira. So you have to multiply that cents by the exchange rate, and I believe they've referenced about 1,600 thereabouts to be able to get to their landing point, assumed pump price after adding distribution. So we're there.
Okay, so we've actually given quite an analysis as regards the pricing and what would have gone into it. And sequel to the lifting of petrol, the NNPC released these estimated pump prices as we saw in the slides. Now we are looking at the fact that they bought from Dangote at 898, as been suggested by NNPC, and they expect to sell at 950 up to about 1,019 compared to the regions. But Dangote has come out to debunk this particular claim, describing it as misleading. So whatever analysis that we try to give to this narrative does not really hold waters for now. And a lot of Nigerians are wondering, what is all this around the pricing? We need to have a clarity on it.
So, I mean, you make a valid point now, but whether Dangote as a refinery refutes or not, don't forget their initial reaction with their disclaimer before this breakdown was that they sold in US dollars. So they had said that the initial conversation or document that NNPC had sent out was incorrect. Remember, coming into this morning, NNPC sent a second document, which is what we're looking at now. So what it does mean is that if the Dangote refinery believes that the pricing that has been put out prior to now was incorrect and they've done a disclaimer, then what needs to happen now is that they need to share something if, quote and unquote, they think that what has been shared is incorrect. There are some triggers that we must look at. NNPC has rightly traded based on the gasoline index. They've referenced the gasoline index. So that's number one. The second thing they've done is that they've referenced an exchange rate. So it's very, very simple. If the Dangote refinery feels that these are incorrect, then I think at this stage, if they were held back before based on a non-disclosure, there's nothing that is non-disclosing anymore at this stage. You must state two things. What price did we sell if it's in cents? What exchange rate did we use? Because at this point in time, the only person that has now provided a full guideline, contrary to what I would have expected, is the NNPC. In my opinion, that is what we'll use as the basis for this price.
Now, we even see that, fuel imports, according to our understanding, are being inspected by independent marketers. And we're seeing the global price fall a couple of weeks now. The NNPC has given us a guide, but for Nigerians, they're wondering maybe that's, most especially import from the international suppliers by independent marketers could in a way force a reduction in the price because it will serve as a form of competition. But I'd like to find out from you if that could play out.
Now it could, and let's be clear about two things, and we've said this again. There's a trigger for gasoline